Danny walked into the huge gymnasium and immediately felt hundreds of eyes staring at him. The building was massive, much bigger than any gym he had seen back on Earth. Strange alien students of all shapes and sizes stopped what they were doing and looked at the human who had just entered their space. He tried not to feel nervous as he adjusted his gym bag on his shoulder. The other students whispered to each other in languages his translator earpiece could barely keep up with. Some looked curious, but most looked scared. Danny wondered if coming to gym class was a mistake. A tall alien with blue skin that looked like crystal walked toward him. The creature had 4 arms and stood at least 8 feet tall. Danny recognized him as Professor Kelvin from the class roster he had received yesterday. "You must be the human student," Professor Kelvin said. His voice came through the translator as calm but uncertain. "I was told you would only attend academic classes. Physical education seems unusual for someone from your world." Danny shrugged and tried to smile in a friendly way. The admissions office said all students need to complete physical education requirements. "I want to participate like everyone else." The word seemed to spread through the crowd of alien students like fire. Danny heard the word Deathworlder repeated over and over in different alien languages. Some students moved away from him. A group of small butterfly-like aliens flew to the far corner of the gym. Professor Kelvin looked worried. His crystal skin seemed to change color slightly. "Perhaps you should just watch today. We are doing basic agility exercises. Nothing too challenging." "I would rather join in if that is okay," Danny said politely. He did not want special treatment on his first day. The professor made a sound that the translator could not interpret properly. It seemed like a sigh mixed with worry. "Very well. Please join the other students for warm-up exercises." Danny walked toward the gathered students. Most of them moved away as he approached. A large 4-legged alien with thick fur backed up several steps. The small butterfly alien stayed as far away as possible. Only one person did not move away from him. Lisa walked over with a big smile on her face. She was the only other human at the Galactic Academy and had arrived 2 weeks before Danny. Her black hair was tied back in a ponytail, and she wore the standard gym uniform. "They put you in gym class too?" Lisa laughed quietly. "This should be fun. Why is everyone so afraid?" Danny asked in a whisper. Lisa looked around at the nervous alien students. "We come from Earth. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world in the Galactic database. Most of these students are from planets where the worst danger is bad weather. They have been told stories about Deathworlders their whole lives. But we are not dangerous," Danny protested. "Try telling them that," Lisa said with a small smile. Professor Kelvin called for attention. All the students stopped talking and turned to face him. "We will begin with a simple warm-up exercise. Everyone will jog 5 laps around the gymnasium at a comfortable pace. This is not a race. Move at a speed that feels easy for your body." The alien students began jogging. Danny watched them move and realized their jogging was more like a fast walk by human standards. He and Lisa looked at each other and started moving at the same slow pace as the other students. Even though they were trying to go slow, Danny and Lisa completed their first lap while most students were only halfway done. Danny could hear his footsteps echoing in the large gym. He tried to make his strides smaller and slower. By the 3rd lap, Danny noticed the butterfly aliens were breathing very hard. Their wings were drooping and they looked tired. Several of the 4-legged aliens had slowed down to a walk. The atmosphere in the gym felt tense. When Danny and Lisa finished their 5 laps, they were not even breathing hard. Danny felt like he had barely moved at all. Professor Kelvin stared at them with wide eyes. His forearms hung at his sides in what looked like shock. "That was your comfortable pace?" the professor asked slowly. "Should we have gone slower?" Lisa asked. "We were trying to match everyone else." Professor Kelvin's translator made several beeping sounds before he could speak again. "Let us move on to the next exercise. We will test basic strength." The professor led the class to a different area of the gym. There were several machines with bars and weights. Everything looked very advanced with holographic displays and equipment that could change shape. Danny had never seen gym equipment like this before. "Each student will perform basic lifting appropriate to their species," Professor Kelvin explained. "The machines will automatically adjust to your body type and calculate safe weight levels." A student who looked like a giant praying mantis went first. The machine hummed and adjusted itself. The student lifted a bar and the holographic display showed 20 kilograms. The mantis alien's thin arms shook with effort. Other students made clicking sounds that seemed like approval. Danny watched as different alien species took their turns. The weights varied, but none of them seemed very heavy to him. The strongest lift he saw was from a short, stocky alien who managed to lift 60 kilograms. The other students made excited sounds and seemed very impressed. "Human students, your turn," Professor Kelvin called out. He did not sound excited. Lisa walked up to the machine first. It hummed loudly and recalibrated itself several times. She gripped the bar and lifted it smoothly. The display numbers climbed rapidly. 50 kilograms, 70, 90, and finally stopped at 110 kilograms. Every sound in the gymnasium stopped. Complete silence filled the huge room. "That cannot be right," a butterfly alien whispered loudly enough for Danny to hear. "She is half the size of Turok and he only lifted 60 kilograms. Lisa set the bar down gently and stepped away. She looked embarrassed. "Sorry, should I have lifted less?" Professor Kelvin's blue crystal skin had turned almost white. "The machine is working correctly. It calculated the weight based on your body mass." He turned to look at Danny. "Perhaps you should skip this test." "I would rather complete the requirement," Danny said. He did not want an incomplete grade on his first day. He walked to the machine and it began recalibrating again. The holographic display showed several warning symbols that Danny did not understand. He grabbed the bar and lifted it in one smooth motion. The display numbers climbed quickly. 100 kilograms, 150, 200, and finally stopped at 230 kilograms. Danny set the bar down carefully and turned around. Every single student in the gymnasium had backed away from him. Some were pressed against the walls. The butterfly aliens had flown up to the ceiling. He lifted almost 4 times what Turok lifted, a 4-legged alien said in a shaking voice. 4 times the strongest student in class. "And he is not even breathing hard," another alien added. "Look at him. He looks completely normal." Professor Kelvin held up all 4 of his arms asking for calm, but his arms were shaking. "Everyone please stay calm. Humans are from a high-gravity world. This level of strength is normal for their species." "Normal?" A small butterfly alien squeaked from the ceiling. "There is nothing normal about that kind of strength. That is the strength of a predator." Danny felt his face get hot with embarrassment. "I am really not that strong. I do not even exercise much. This is just average for humans back home." His words did not help. If anything, the alien students looked more frightened. Several of them moved even further away. Lisa leaned close and whispered, "Maybe do not mention that any regular human could do this. I think they are already scared enough." Professor Kelvin looked at his data pad and then at the human students. He seemed to be thinking hard about what to do next. "According to our standard curriculum, we should now move to the reaction and agility test. However, given what just happened, perhaps we should end class early." "We can do the agility test," Lisa said quickly. "We will be careful. We do not want special treatment." The professor's translator made a long sound like a tired sigh. "Very well. But we will modify the rules. The humans will go last. All other students must clear the testing area completely before they begin." Danny looked around at the frightened faces of his classmates. This was not how he wanted his first gym class to go. He just wanted to be a normal student, but apparently being human meant he could never be normal here. The center of the gymnasium began to change as holographic projectors activated around the room. Slowly, an obstacle course appeared in the middle of the floor. It had balance beams, climbing walls, swinging bars, and platforms at different heights. The course looked challenging and complex. Professor Kelvin walked to the front of the group and explained the rules. His 4 arms moved as he talked, pointing at different parts of the course. "This is our standard agility assessment. The course will generate random obstacles as you move through it. Your translator will give you an audio warning 1 second before each obstacle appears. Your goal is to complete the course as quickly as possible without getting hit by any obstacles." A graceful alien who looked like a floating ribbon stepped forward first. The student moved into the course and obstacles began appearing. Swinging bars came from the sides. Platforms rose and fell. Small projectiles shot across the path. The ribbon-like alien floated and twisted through everything beautifully. When the student finished, the display showed a time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds with 0 hits. The other alien students made approving sounds. They seemed very impressed. Danny learned from another student that the ribbon aliens were called Solarians and were known throughout the galaxy for being graceful and quick. More students took their turns going through the course. A butterfly alien finished in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. A four-legged alien took 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Most students got hit by at least 1 or 2 obstacles, but they all made it through. The times varied a lot depending on which species the student belonged to. Danny watched carefully and tried to understand how the course worked. It seemed designed to test reflexes and body control. The random obstacles meant students had to react quickly to things they could not predict. "Human students," Professor Kelvin called out. He sounded tired and worried. "Please remember, this is just an assessment. There is no need to push yourselves too hard. We are just measuring your baseline abilities." Lisa stepped forward and walked into the course. Danny stayed outside the boundary and watched. He wanted to see how the course would react to a human. The obstacles started generating, and what happened next made every alien in the gymnasium freeze in place. Lisa moved through the course like water flowing downhill. She ducked under swinging bars before they fully appeared. She jumped between platforms that seemed too far apart. She climbed walls so fast that the holographic system seemed to struggle to create obstacles quickly enough. Her reaction time was normal for a human, but incredible by galactic standards. She was moving almost before the audio warnings finished playing in her translator. Her body twisted and turned with the easy control that came from growing up on a high-gravity world where being clumsy could be dangerous. Lisa finished the course, and the display showed her time. 53 seconds. 0 hits. The gymnasium was so quiet that Danny could hear the electrical hum of the holographic projectors. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Everyone just stared at the number on the display. "That is not possible," an alien student finally whispered. The course was designed by Solarian engineers. They built it so the theoretical best possible time is 1 minute under perfect conditions. "She beat the theoretical minimum time," another student said in a shaking voice, "on her first try, without any practice." Professor Kelvin checked his datapad 3 times. He looked at the display, then at Lisa, then back at his datapad. The human completed the course in under 1 minute on her first attempt. The system shows no errors. Lisa walked back to where Danny stood. She was breathing a little hard, but not very much. "Your turn," she said with a small smile. "Try not to show off too much." Danny felt his stomach tighten with nervousness. After what Lisa just did, he knew anything he did would make the situation worse. But he had to complete the assessment. "I will try to go slower," he whispered back. "Human student, you may begin when ready," Professor Kelvin said. He sounded like he was dreading what was about to happen. Danny walked into the course and took a deep breath. The obstacles began generating around him. He tried to move carefully and not go too fast, but his body moved on instinct. These were the reflexes he had developed growing up on Earth, where being too slow could mean getting hurt. He ducked under a swinging bar. He jumped to a platform. He climbed a wall. His brain processed everything quickly and his body responded without him having to think about it. This was just how humans moved when they needed to avoid danger. When he exited the course, the display showed his time. 49 seconds. 0 hits. Danny looked up and saw that several of the smaller alien students had fainted. They were lying on the gymnasium floor. Professor Kelvin was trying to help a butterfly alien who had collapsed. 2 four-legged aliens were fanning the unconscious student with their tails. "I am sorry," Danny said quickly. "I tried not to go too fast." "You tried not to go too fast," a Solarian student repeated in a hollow voice. "You tried not to go too fast and still beat the theoretical minimum by 11 seconds. Professor Kelvin carefully set down the butterfly alien he was helping. Medical drones were already arriving to check on the students who had fainted. "I think we need to end class immediately. Everyone please exit the gymnasium in an orderly manner." The alien students did not need to be told twice. They rushed toward the exits as fast as their various bodies could move. Some flew, some ran, some slithered. Within 2 minutes, the gymnasium was empty except for Danny, Lisa, Professor Kelvin, and a few medical drones helping the students who had fainted. "Did we do something wrong?" Lisa asked quietly. Professor Kelvin sat down on the gymnasium floor. For such a tall alien, he suddenly looked very small. "No, you did not do anything wrong. You simply existed as your species exists, but you must understand what the other students just witnessed." "We just did the course," Danny said. "We did not try to scare anyone. You completed an agility course designed by one of the fastest species in the galaxy. You both beat times that should be impossible, and you did it easily without strain on your first attempts. Professor Kelvin looked at them with his alien eyes. Most species in the galactic community evolved on peaceful worlds. Their ancestors did not need to run from predators or chase prey. They developed intelligence and technology instead of physical abilities. And we developed both, Lisa said slowly, understanding. Exactly. Humans come from a world that tried to kill you every day. You evolved to be strong, fast, and nearly indestructible by galactic standards. What is normal for you is superhuman for us. The professor stood up slowly. I need to report this to Headmaster Vorn. There will be a meeting about how to handle this situation. Are we in trouble? Danny asked. No, but the Academy has never had Deathworlder students before. We are not prepared for the reality of what that means. Professor Kelvin started walking toward his office, then stopped and turned back. For what it is worth, you both performed excellently. In any other circumstance, I would be proud to have students with your abilities in my class. After the professor left, Danny and Lisa sat on the gymnasium floor. The medical drones had taken away the last of the unconscious students. They were alone in the huge empty space. I just wanted to pass gym class, Danny said quietly. Me too, Lisa agreed, but I guess that is not going to be simple. What do you think will happen? Danny asked. Lisa shrugged. I do not know. Maybe they will make us do independent study instead of joining classes. Maybe they will ask us to leave the academy. Maybe they will figure out a way to make this work. I hope they figure out a way to make it work, Danny said. I really want to stay here. This is an amazing opportunity. Same, Lisa said. But we cannot pretend to be weaker than we are. That would be lying. And it would not be fair to us or to them. They sat in silence for a few minutes, both thinking about what had just happened. The holographic obstacle course had shut down and the gymnasium looked normal again. It was hard to believe that just an hour ago, this room had been full of students who were now terrified of them. Do you think they will ever stop being afraid of us? Danny asked. Lisa thought about it before answering. Maybe. If we can show them that being strong does not mean being dangerous. If we can prove that humans can be trusted. She stood up and offered Danny her hand to help him up. But that is going to take time. And effort. And probably a lot of uncomfortable conversations. Danny took her hand and stood up. I guess we should go back to our dorm and wait to hear from the headmaster. As they walked out of the gymnasium, Danny noticed something on the wall. It was a display showing the top times for the agility course going back 10 years. The best time listed was 1 minute and 8 seconds by a Solarian student 3 years ago. Now there were 2 new times at the top of the list, 49 seconds and 53 seconds, both marked with the species designation human. Danny wondered if those times would inspire other students or just make them more afraid. He hoped for inspiration but expected fear. That seemed to be the pattern so far. Danny and Lisa walked back to their dormitory building through the campus plaza. Usually the plaza was full of students talking, studying, or playing games. Today it was packed with even more students than normal. Groups of aliens stood together, whispering and looking at data pads. As Danny and Lisa walked past, the conversation stopped. Aliens stared at them. Some backed away. A group of butterfly aliens flew higher into the air to get further away from the humans. It felt like being in a spotlight that Danny could not escape. Everyone is looking at us, Danny whispered to Lisa. News travels fast, apparently, Lisa replied quietly. They reached their dorm building and went inside. The building was designed to house students from many different species, so it had rooms of all different sizes and environmental controls. Danny and Lisa lived in adjacent rooms on the 3rd floor in the section designed for oxygen-breathing species. When they got to their rooms, Danny saw that his communication device was flashing with dozens of messages. He picked it up and started reading. There are 23 forum posts about us, Danny said in shock. This one is called Deathworlders Lift 4 times Normal Maximum. This one says I watched humans break agility records. This one is asking if Deathworlders should be allowed in regular classes. Lisa checked her own device. I have 47 messages from other students. Most of them are asking if the videos are real. Wait, there are videos? Danny searched the student network and found multiple recordings of their gym class. Someone had filmed everything with their data pad. The video showed Lisa and Danny completing the agility course in impossible time. The lifting test, the jogging laps, everything. The university allows students to record classes for study purposes, Lisa said. reading the network policies. I guess someone decided to record gym class today. A sharp knock on Danny's door made them both jump. Danny opened it to find an elderly alien standing in the hallway. The alien had the same blue crystal skin as Professor Kelvin, but shot through with golden veins that seemed to glow slightly. "Mr. Martinez, Ms. Chang, I'm Headmaster Vorn. Please come with me to my office." They followed the headmaster through the campus. More students stared as they passed. Some pointed. Danny heard the word Deathworlder over and over in different languages. His translator was working hard to keep up with all the different conversations. The headmaster's office was in the tallest building on campus. It was a circular room with windows that showed the entire academy and the alien city beyond. Danny had never been this high up in the building before. The view was incredible. "Please sit," Headmaster Vorn said, gesturing to chairs that adjusted themselves to fit human bodies. Danny and Lisa sat down. The headmaster stood by the window looking out at the campus for a long moment before speaking. "I want to be very clear about something," Vorn finally said, turning to face them. "Neither of you has broken any rules. You have not violated any policies. You attended a class you were scheduled for and participated as requested. You are not in trouble." "Then why does it feel like we did something wrong?" Danny asked. "Because you scared your classmates," Vorn said simply. "And now I have been receiving calls from parents across 40 different star systems. Several students have requested transfers to other academies. 3 butterfly alien families are threatening to withdraw their children completely unless changes are made." Lisa's face fell. "Because of us?" "Because they are afraid," Vorn corrected. "You must understand the context. Most species in the galactic community have been spacefaring civilizations for thousands of years. They evolved on peaceful worlds where the biggest dangers were weather or disease, predation, survival competition, physical danger. These are ancient concepts to most of them, things they read about in history books. And we make those concepts real," Danny said, understanding. "Yes. Humanity comes from Earth, which is classified as a Class 12 death world. That classification exists for important reasons." Vorn pulled up holographic displays showing Earth. "Your planet has extreme weather, active geology, dangerous biology, and intense competition between species. Most inhabited worlds in the galaxy are much gentler." The display showed footage from their gym class. Danny watched himself complete the agility course. From this outside perspective, he could see what the alien students had seen: the speed, the precision, the effortless way he moved through obstacles that were supposed to be challenging. "Watch this from an evolutionary perspective," Vorn said. Lisa completed an agility course designed by Solarian engineers. The Solarians evolved flight specifically to escape predators. They are considered one of the fastest species in known space. Lisa beat their best recorded time by a significant margin. On her first attempt, the display switched to show Danny lifting weights. Danny lifted weights that would require mechanical assistance for most species present. He did so without any visible strain or effort. "These are not tricks or special training. These are baseline capabilities for your species. What do we do?" Lisa asked quietly. "That is exactly why you are here," Vorn said. "I need your input on how to handle this situation. I see several possible paths forward." The headmaster pulled up a list on the holographic display. Option 1. We modify your physical education requirements. You complete independent study instead of attending classes with other students. This keeps you separated but allows you to graduate. You want to segregate us because we are different? Danny felt anger rising in his chest. "I do not want to," Vorn said firmly, "but I must consider the concerns of hundreds of other students and their families. If the other students are too afraid to attend classes, that is also a problem." "What are the other options?" Lisa asked. "Option 2. We use this as an educational opportunity. You would participate in a series of presentations and discussions about Earth, human evolution, and human culture. We would create opportunities for controlled interaction, where other students can ask questions and learn about humans in a safe environment." "You want us to be zoo exhibits?" Danny said bitterly. "I want you to be ambassadors," Vorn corrected. "You are the first humans most of these students have ever met. Right now, all they know about humans is what they saw in gym class, that you are incredibly strong and fast, that you come from a dangerous world, that you could hurt them easily if you wanted to. But we do not want to hurt anyone," Lisa protested. "I know that. You know that. But they do not know that yet." Vorn sat down across from them. Think about it from their perspective. Imagine if a species arrived on Earth that could lift cars with one hand and move faster than you could see. Imagine they came from a world that made Earth look safe. How would humans react? Danny thought about it honestly. We would be scared. We would want to keep distance. We would want to know if they were dangerous. Exactly, Vorn said. Your classmates are not being unreasonable. They are being cautious around something they do not understand, something that could genuinely hurt them if it wanted to. So what happens if we do these presentations? Lisa asked. We would start with a large assembly. You would talk about Earth and human evolution. Show them that human strength comes from surviving a difficult environment, not from aggression. Let them ask questions. Let them see you as people, not just as physical capabilities. And if that does not work, Danny asked, then we consider other options. But I believe it will work. I have read your application files, your academic records, your personal statements. You are both thoughtful, intelligent young people who want to learn and make connections. Let your classmates see that side of you. Danny and Lisa looked at each other. They had a silent conversation with just their eyes, the way friends do when they know each other well. We will do it, they said at the same time. Thank you, Vorn said, and he sounded genuinely relieved. I will schedule an assembly for 3 days from now. That gives us time to prepare and for initial panic to settle down. I will also have Professor Kelvin work with you on what to present. As they stood to leave, Vorn added one more thing. I want you to know that I believe you belong here. The Galactic Academy was founded on the principle that diversity makes us stronger, learning from different perspectives and different experiences. You bring a perspective we have never had before. That is valuable. Danny and Lisa walked back to their dorm in silence. The campus felt different now. Students still stared, but Danny tried to see it from their perspective. They were not being mean. They were being careful around something unknown. Back in his room, Danny lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling. His communication device kept buzzing with new messages and forum posts. He ignored it. 3 days until the assembly. 3 days to figure out how to explain being human to species that had never faced real danger. 3 days to convince hundreds of aliens that he was not a threat. It seemed impossible. But then again, a few months ago, traveling to an alien academy on another planet seemed impossible too. Maybe if he had learned anything from being human, it was that impossible just meant difficult. And humans were very good at handling difficult things. He sat up and started making notes about what to say at the assembly. If he was going to be an ambassador for humanity, he wanted to do it right. The next 3 days were strange for Danny. He still attended his academic classes, but the atmosphere was completely different. Other students would not sit near him. When he entered a classroom, conversations stopped. Professors seemed nervous and kept watching him carefully. In his xenobiology class, Danny accidentally dropped his data pad. The device hit the floor with a small bang. Every alien student in the room jumped or made startled sounds. One butterfly alien flew straight up and hit the ceiling. The professor looked at Danny with wide eyes. Sorry, Danny said quietly, picking up the data pad. It just slipped, but the damage was done. For the rest of class, everyone watched him like he might explode at any moment. Danny tried to focus on the lecture about different planetary ecosystems, but it was hard when he felt like a dangerous animal in a cage. Lisa had similar experiences. In her mathematics class, she raised her hand to answer a question. The professor called on her nervously. When Lisa stood up to walk to the board to show her work, half the class moved their desks away from the aisle. Are you okay? Danny asked her at lunch. They sat alone in the cafeteria. Other students kept their distance, leaving a large empty space around the human table. I tried to join a study group, Lisa said, pushing food around her plate. The other students said they were full. But I could see there were only 3 of them in a group designed for 6. We are not monsters, Danny said, feeling frustrated. No, but we could be if we wanted to, Lisa replied. That is what they are afraid of. Not what we are doing, but what we could do. Professor Kelvin found them after lunch. I have the auditorium reserved for your presentation tomorrow. It was supposed to be just for your year level, but so many students requested to attend that we opened it to everyone. We are expecting over 1,000 students. Danny felt his stomach drop. 1,000? The faculty will also be there, and it will be recorded for the Galactic Academy network, so students at other institutions can watch. Kelvin paused. No pressure. but this presentation may determine how Deathworlders are viewed in academic settings across the galaxy. That is a lot of pressure, actually, Lisa said. Sorry, but I want you to understand the importance. You are not just representing yourselves. You are representing your entire species to the galactic community. Kelvin handed them data pads. I have prepared some information that might help. Statistics about Earth, about human evolution, about your civilization's development. Use what you find helpful. That evening, Danny and Lisa met in Lisa's room to prepare. They spread out information on her desk and started organizing what they wanted to say. We should start with Earth itself, Lisa suggested. Show them the planet before we talk about the people. Agreed. Then we explain how the environment shaped human evolution, why we developed the way we did. Danny made notes on his data pad. We need to emphasize that our abilities came from survival necessity, not from aggression. And we should talk about human cooperation, Lisa added. How we survived through working together, not through fighting each other. They worked late into the night, preparing slides and practicing what they would say. Danny kept rewriting his parts, trying to find the right words to explain being human to beings who had never experienced real danger. The next morning arrived too quickly. Danny barely slept. He put on his gym uniform as Headmaster Vorn had suggested. Show them you are comfortable with your capabilities, the headmaster had said. The auditorium was already packed when they arrived. Danny looked out at the sea of alien faces and felt his heart racing. There were so many different species. Butterfly aliens filling the upper levels, four-legged aliens in the main floor seats, crystal-skinned aliens standing along the walls, ribbon-like aliens floating near the ceiling. Professor Kelvin walked on stage first. His forearms raised for attention, and the crowd slowly quieted down. Thank you all for attending. Today our human students have agreed to speak about their world and their species. Please listen with open minds and save questions for the end. Danny walked onto the stage first. The auditorium went completely silent. He could feel 1,000 eyes watching his every movement. He took a deep breath and approached the podium. Hello everyone, my name is Danny Martinez. I am from Los Angeles, which is a city on Earth. I am 18 years old. Before I came here, I was a completely average human, not an athlete, not a soldier, just a regular student who played some soccer and did okay in gym class. He pulled up the first holographic slide showing Earth rotating in space. This is my home. To most species in the galactic community, it is classified as a Class 12 death world. That classification exists because of what I'm going to show you. The image zoomed in to show different regions of Earth. My planet has extreme weather. We have storms with winds strong enough to destroy buildings. We have regions where it rains hard enough to hurt unprotected skin. We have temperatures that range from cold enough to freeze skin in minutes to hot enough to cause death from heat in hours. A butterfly alien raised a wing nervously. But surely you have technology to protect yourselves from these conditions? Now we do, Danny said. But humans evolved for most of our history without that technology. Our bodies adapted to survive these conditions naturally. We can regulate our temperature through sweating. We can survive in temperatures that would kill most species here. Our skin is thick enough to protect us from our weather. He changed the slide to show humans running. We also evolved to move in ways that seem extreme to other species. Humans can run for hours without stopping, because we evolved to chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We call it persistence hunting. It is how our ancestors survived. Lisa took over, walking to the center of the stage. But Earth did not just have harsh weather. It had competition. Our planet was full of dangerous animals. She pulled up images of Earth predators, lions, bears, wolves, crocodiles. The auditorium filled with gasps and frightened sounds. Several students moved back in their seats. That creature has teeth as long as my entire body, a small alien squeaked. And humans lived on the same world as these things? Another asked in disbelief. Not just lived, Lisa said. We survived and eventually thrived. We became the dominant species on our planet. But here is the important part. We did not do it through strength alone. We did it through cooperation, intelligence, and tool use. She changed the slide to show humans working together, building shelters, hunting in groups, caring for sick and injured. What really made humans successful was not our individual strength. It was our ability to work together, to form communities, to care for each other. Danny came back to the podium. This is important to understand. Yes, humans are physically capable by galactic standards, But we are also social creatures who value cooperation and empathy. The same environment that made us strong also made us compassionate. He pulled up images of human sports and games. This is what we do with our capabilities now. We compete in sports. We play games. We challenge ourselves for fun. The traits that helped us survive on a dangerous world now help us excel at activities we do for entertainment. A crystal-skinned alien stood up in the audience. But you could hurt us so easily. Your strength, your speed. How do we know you are safe to be around? This was the question Danny had been preparing for. He stepped forward and spoke clearly. That is actually the most important thing to understand. Yes, humans are physically capable, but we are also social creatures with strong moral values. We do not want to hurt anyone. Lisa joined him at the front of the stage. Think about it carefully. Humans did not survive Earth by fighting everything we encountered. We survived by forming communities, by protecting each other, by caring for the sick and injured, by working together against dangers we could not face alone. When students fainted in gym class, Danny added, "My first emotion was not pride. It was concern. I felt terrible that we had scared people. That is human nature too. We have empathy. We care about others." The auditorium was quiet, but it felt different from the frightened silence of before. This felt like thinking silence, processing silence. A ribbon-like Solarian stood up. "Could you demonstrate the agility course again? But this time explain what you are doing as you do it. I want to understand how you move like that." Danny looked at Lisa, who nodded. The stage holographics generated a smaller version of the agility course. Lisa stepped into the small agility course that had been generated on the stage. This time she moved slowly and talked as she went through each obstacle. The audience watched carefully, their earlier fear replaced by curiosity. "I am approaching the first obstacle now," Lisa said. "My brain is processing the movement patterns. Human brains are very good at predicting motion because our ancestors needed to predict where prey would run or where predators would strike." She ducked under a swinging bar in slow motion. "I am not faster than normal for a human. I just come from a world where being slow meant danger. Our reaction time evolved to be very quick compared to species from safer worlds." She jumped between two platforms, explaining as she went. "Human legs are very strong because we evolved to walk and run on a high-gravity world. What feels like a long jump to other species feels normal to us." When she finished the course at the slow, explanatory pace, the applause was genuine and warm. Students were no longer backing away in fear. They were leaning forward with interest. Danny did the same demonstration, adding more details. "On Earth we have a saying, with great power comes great responsibility. It means that being capable of something does not mean you should use it carelessly. Just because I can move fast or lift heavy things does not mean I do it without thinking about consequences." A four-legged alien raised a limb from the audience. "Will you still come to our gym class, now that we understand better?" Danny looked at Lisa, then at Professor Kelvin, who was standing at the side of the stage. "If the class wants us, we would like to continue. But maybe we could help design different kinds of activities, things where different species' strengths all have advantages." Professor Kelvin stepped forward, his blue, crystalline face looking pleased. "That is an excellent suggestion. We could design team activities. Humans have endurance and reaction time. Butterfly aliens have flight and precision. Four-legged aliens have stability and stamina. Ribbon aliens have flexibility and grace. We could create exercises that require all these different traits working together." The auditorium buzzed with interested sounds. Students were talking to each other, no longer just about the humans, but about the possibilities. An elderly alien professor stood up from the faculty section. "This raises an important question for the Academy. We have been teaching physical education the same way for 3 centuries. We designed it around species from gentle worlds. Perhaps it is time we adapted to a more diverse student body." Headmaster Vorn stood up as well. "I agree. This presentation has shown me that we made assumptions. We saw the classification Deathworlder and assumed dangerous. We forgot to look for the person underneath the capabilities." A small butterfly alien flew down from the upper levels and landed on the stage near Danny. Danny recognized it as one of the students who had fainted during gym class. "I'm sorry I fainted," the butterfly alien said through its translator. "You just moved so fast and I panicked. I did not think about why you moved that way. I only thought about my fear." Danny knelt down to be at eye level with the small alien. You do not need to apologize. If I saw someone move like that without understanding the context, I would probably be scared too. Fear of the unknown is natural for every species. Could we maybe be lab partners? The butterfly alien asked. I am very good at theoretical physics, but I struggle with equipment setup. You are probably strong enough to help with that. I would like that, Danny said, smiling. What is your name? I am Kevin, the butterfly alien said. I am from the third moon of Paxis. More students began approaching the stage. The questions changed from frightened to curious. What was Earth food like? Did humans really sleep lying down completely flat? Was it true they could eat things that were poisonous to other species? Did they really have to drink water every single day to survive? Danny and Lisa answered questions for over an hour. They talked about human culture, human biology, human history. They showed pictures of Earth cities and natural wonders. They explained human customs and holidays. By the time the assembly ended, Danny had received over 50 offers to study together, join various clubs, and participate in cultural exchange programs. His communication device would not stop buzzing with new messages. As students filed out of the auditorium, the atmosphere felt completely different. Some students still looked nervous, but now they also looked interested. They were seeing Danny and Lisa as people, not just as scary Deathworlders. Professor Kelvin approached them as they gathered their materials. That was exceptionally well done. You both have a gift for communication. Headmaster Vorn has authorized me to completely redesign the physical education curriculum. With your input, we are calling it Multi-Species Adaptive Athletics. That sounds complicated, Danny said. It will be, Kelvin agreed, but he looked excited about it. We have been running a gym program designed for species from gentle worlds for 3 centuries. It is past time we adapted to include a more diverse student body, not just for humans, but for any species that does not fit our old assumptions. He paused and brought his forearms together in a gesture Danny had learned meant sincerity. You taught us something important today. Not just about humans, but about the assumptions we all make. We saw Deathworlder and assumed dangerous. We forgot to ask what else you might be. As the professor walked away to discuss curriculum changes with other faculty, Danny turned to Lisa. Do you think it will last? The understanding, I mean. Lisa looked around the auditorium at the remaining students who were still chatting and asking questions. A group of 4-legged aliens was talking with some ribbon aliens about forming a mixed-species sports team. Some butterfly aliens were looking at images of Earth with fascination rather than fear. I think we gave them a starting point, Lisa said. The rest is up to all of us to figure out how to live together and learn from each other. But at least now they see us as people first and Deathworlders second. Danny nodded. It was a good start. They still had a long way to go. There would be more misunderstandings, more moments where their Earthborn capabilities would surprise or worry their classmates. But they had taken the first important step. They had stopped being the scary unknowns from the dangerous world. Now they were Danny and Lisa, students who happened to be strong and fast, but who were also friendly and willing to help others understand. Back in his dorm room that evening, Danny found a message waiting for him. It was from Kevin, the butterfly alien who had asked to be lab partners. Hello, Danny. I was reading about Earth and found information about something called pizza. Is that really a food item or did my translator malfunction? It sounds structurally impossible. How do you keep the toppings from falling off? Danny laughed and started typing a response. If explaining human physical abilities had been challenging, explaining Earth cuisine to species with completely different digestive systems and food preferences was going to be an adventure of its own, but he found himself looking forward to it. Every question, every conversation, every shared meal or study session would be another chance to build understanding. Another opportunity to show that different did not have to mean dangerous. He typed out a long explanation of pizza, including pictures and descriptions of different varieties. Then he added a suggestion that they meet up tomorrow to work on their physics assignment together. Outside his window, the alien city glowed with lights from a dozen different architectural styles. Students from hundreds of worlds lived and learned together in this place, and now humans were part of that mix. Danny thought about the scared faces in gym class just a few days ago. Then he thought about the curious questions and friendly offers at the assembly today. Things could change quickly when people took the time to understand each other. He finished his message to Kevin and sent it. His communication device buzzed almost immediately with a reply. Kevin was excited to try pizza sometime. even though his species could not actually digest most of the ingredients. But he still wanted to learn about it. That was what the academy was all about. Learning about things that were different from yourself. Danny opened his academic planner and started organizing his schedule for the next week. Classes, study groups, lab work with Kevin, meetings with Professor Kelvin about the new physical education curriculum. He also noticed Lisa had added a note about starting a human culture club, where other students could come ask questions in an informal setting. Life at the academy was going to be busy. But it was also going to be interesting, and for the first time since arriving, Danny felt like he actually belonged here, not despite being human, but because being human meant he brought something unique to this community of learners. He closed his data pad and got ready for bed. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and new opportunities. That was the nature of being a bridge between worlds. It was difficult work, but it was also important work. And if there was one thing Danny had learned about humans, it was that they were very good at doing difficult, important work, even when it seemed impossible at first. 2 weeks after the assembly, Danny walked into the gymnasium for his first redesigned physical education class. He felt nervous but also excited. Professor Kelvin had spent every evening working with him and Lisa to create activities that would work for multiple species with different abilities. The gymnasium looked different now. Instead of one large space, it had been divided into different activity zones. Each zone was designed for a specific type of exercise that would benefit different species in different ways. Other students were already arriving. Danny noticed they did not back away when they saw him anymore. Some even waved or made friendly gestures in their species' customs. Kevin flew over immediately, his butterfly wings creating small gusts of air. "Danny, I'm so excited for the new class format," Kevin said through his translator. "I read the curriculum overview. We are doing team activities today." "I am excited too," Danny replied honestly, "and a little nervous. I hope this works better than last time." "It will," Kevin said confidently. "Everyone understands better now. We know you are not trying to show off or scare anyone. You are just being yourself." Professor Kelvin called the class to attention. His forearms gestured to the different zones around the gym. "Welcome to the first session of our new multi-species adaptive athletics program. Today we are focusing on team coordination. You will be working in mixed species groups to complete challenges that require different abilities." He explained the activity. Each team would have 6 members from different species. They would need to navigate an obstacle course, but this course was designed so that no single species could complete it alone. Some obstacles required flight. Some required strength. Some required flexibility or speed or precision. The goal is not to be the fastest team, Kelvin emphasized. The goal is to work together effectively, to understand how different abilities complement each other. Danny was assigned to a team with Kevin the butterfly alien, a 4-legged alien named Tara, a ribbon-like alien named Syl, a crystal-skinned alien named Zora, and a small round alien named Pip who rolled instead of walking. "Okay, team," Tara said, looking at the course ahead of them. "Let us analyze this strategically. The first obstacle has a high platform that needs to be reached. Kevin, can you fly up and activate the switch?" "Yes, but the switch looks heavy," Kevin replied. "I do not have enough mass to press it down." "I can throw something heavy up to you," Danny suggested, "if you can guide it to hit the switch." "That could work," Syl said. The ribbon alien's body rippled with what Danny had learned was their version of nodding. "And I can stretch across the gap at obstacle 3. My body can form a bridge." They planned their approach carefully, with each team member identifying where their natural abilities would be most useful. When Professor Kelvin signaled start, they moved as a coordinated unit. Danny lifted a weight and threw it upward with careful control. Kevin flew alongside it, using small air currents from his wings to guide its path. The weight hit the switch perfectly. The platform lowered and Pip rolled across it quickly, being the lightest and therefore putting least strain on the mechanism. At the next obstacle, Tara used her 4 legs to create a stable base. Danny climbed onto her back and reached up to grab a high bar, then pulled himself up. From his elevated position, he could reach a rope that Syl needed to cross a gap. "Zora, we need your precision now," Syl called out. The crystal alien had excellent aim due to their multifaceted eyes that saw in multiple spectrums. Zora threw small objects at distant targets, while the others moved through their parts of the course. Every target hit perfectly. The team worked like a well-designed machine. each part doing what it did best. They were not the fastest team to finish. A team with 3 butterfly aliens completed the course quicker because their route had more flight elements, but Danny's team finished with perfect coordination, and more importantly, they finished with everyone smiling and congratulating each other. "That was amazing," Kevin said, landing on Danny's shoulder. "Did you see how well we worked together? Your strength let me reach places I never could have accessed alone, and my flight let you solve problems that would have been impossible from the ground." Other teams were having similar experiences. Danny watched a team struggle at first because they tried to have their strongest member do everything. But once they started using each species' natural talents, they moved through the course smoothly. Professor Kelvin gathered everyone at the end of class. "What you all demonstrated today is the core principle of the galactic community. We are stronger together precisely because we are different. Each species brings unique capabilities. The key is learning to coordinate and appreciate those differences." A 4-legged alien raised a limb. "Professor, I have a question. Are humans going to be in all our future gym classes?" Danny felt his stomach tighten, worried about the answer. But the alien continued, "Because I would really like Danny on my team for the next activity. Having someone who can lift and throw accurately is incredibly useful." Relief washed over Danny. The question was not asking to exclude humans. It was asking to include them. "Yes, all students will participate together going forward," Kelvin confirmed. "We will rotate team assignments so everyone gets experience working with different species combinations." After class, several students approached Danny and Lisa. A group of ribbon aliens wanted to know if humans would be interested in joining their climbing club. Some crystal aliens asked if they would help demonstrate Earth games at the upcoming cultural festival. Tara invited them to study group for their xenobiology class. "Things have really changed," Lisa said as they walked to lunch together. "Remember when we ate alone because everyone was too scared to sit near us?" The cafeteria proved her point. When they entered with their food trays, Kevin immediately waved them over to a table where he sat with several other students from different species. "Sit with us," Kevin called out. "We are discussing the physics assignment and nobody understands the gravity calculations. Since you are from a high-gravity world, maybe you can explain it better." Danny and Lisa joined the table. Danny helped explain how objects fell on Earth compared to lower-gravity worlds. His practical experience with Earth gravity helped him explain the mathematical concepts in ways the other students could understand better. "So when you jump on Earth, you come down much faster and harder than we would on our worlds," a ribbon alien named Alex said, working through the math. "That must make sports very different." "Very different," Lisa confirmed. "We have sports where the whole goal is fighting against gravity. Basketball, volleyball, high jump. On a lower gravity world, those sports would not work the same way." "Could you show us videos of Earth sports sometime?" Tara asked. "I am curious how you adapted to your environment for recreation." "We could do a presentation for the cultural festival," Danny suggested. "Show different Earth sports and explain how they work. Maybe even demonstrate some if we can find safe ways to do it." The table erupted with enthusiastic sounds of agreement. Everyone wanted to see Earth sports. Some wanted to try playing them with adjusted rules for different species' capabilities. Over the next few weeks, life settled into a comfortable routine. Danny and Lisa attended all their classes without incident. The initial fear had faded as other students got to know them as individuals. They were still stronger and faster than their classmates. But now that was seen as just another type of diversity, like Kevin's flight or Syl's flexibility. Professor Kelvin's redesigned physical education class became popular across the academy. Other year levels requested similar formats. The idea of mixed species team activities spread to other subjects too. Science classes started forming diverse lab groups. Art classes explored how different species perceived and created beauty differently. Danny and Lisa started their human culture club, which met twice a week. They showed Earth movies, played Earth music, and taught interested students about human history and customs. The club grew from 5 members to over 30 in just 2 weeks. One evening, Danny was walking back to his dorm when he encountered a group of new students who had just arrived at the academy. They were butterfly aliens, young and nervous about their first day. When they saw Danny, they backed away fearfully. An older butterfly alien student flew forward. It was Kevin. "Do not be afraid," Kevin told the new students. "This is Danny. He is my friend and lab partner. He is from Earth, which is a death world. But that just means he had a different growing up experience than us." But he could hurt us, one of the new students said in a tiny voice. He could, Kevin agreed. Just like I could fly into you at full speed and hurt you with my wing edges. Just like Tara could step on you with her heavy legs. We all have capabilities that could hurt others if we chose to use them that way. But we choose not to. That is what makes us civilized beings, not our capabilities, but our choices. Danny felt a warmth in his chest hearing Kevin explain it so clearly. A few weeks ago, Kevin had been one of the students who fainted from fear. Now he was teaching others not to be afraid. Would you like to join our study group? Danny offered to the new students. We meet tomorrow evening. All species welcome. We help each other with homework and share snacks from our different cultures. The new students looked